All right, good morning. Here I am at my wife's house, and I was hoping to. My New Year's resolution was to start documenting what I do for for YouTube, because I'm always flipping cars and fixing them and everything. The life of a mechanic, backyard mechanic, I guess. Now, I don't work for anybody except the military reserves, and I love the reserves. I'm a mechanic for them too, and but in the meantime, gotta keep myself busy, and so this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm dealing with. I'm on quarantine right now, kind of. This is March 26th, and I just activated my real estate license, so I have a little meeting later. But I don't have anything else going on today except finally I gotta wash this Prius that me and my friend rebuilt. Bought this thing. It had 47,000 miles on it. Really new car. Some old lady, she put it into a pond, and I bought it for cheap, and drove it for a little bit until the engine gave up on the highway, and put a rod through the block. So there's the engine right there. I disassembled and part that out. 1.5 liter hybrid engine. There's the bottom end of it right there. There's the hole. Got various parts I'm hoarding around here, but upgraded her car before this virus thing, so it's been really hard to sell her old Prius up there. Got somebody coming by to look at it today, and been working on this old hard body pickup truck. I got that thing on a trade for $500 trailer. I traded for this truck. It was leaking power steering fluid, and now it's a great running truck though. So I'm keeping it until somebody gives me enough money for it. This Lexus, that's a loaner car from the dealer because they messed up my transmission on my Lexus. So they're doing a recall on my Lexus right now, my Lexus hybrid. And I think I'm going to sell that when I get it back too. But so far, I got that thing to drive right now. If I want to drive, I really don't go anywhere. But I love her car. This is a Highlander hybrid. It gets about 25, 30 miles to the gallon. It's got leather interior. This tree right here makes things very hard for me with cars. I'm also restoring an old Fiat right now. I really hope to just have one car eventually that I don't want to sell. And I think I'm going to transition into a manual 5-speed turbocharged Fiat 500L, which is a semi-family car, a little crossover, and it's really, I test drove them at the dealer. After I got this Lexus, I went straight to the Fiat dealer, and I test drove some of their Fiats, and I was really impressed at how they drove. I'm more of an old school Fiat and Alpha guy, which I know is weird. I'm probably one of the only ones that can say that, because I've been working on those cars first since I was 16. So I've been working on cars for about 20 years now, give or take. 38 now, so my math isn't really great this morning, but anyway, I've been actually working since 14, 15, is when I start getting obsessed with cars. I've worked at a few garages and everything, but this is where I'm at now. I've actually owned my own garage and restored Alphas and Fiats as a hobby slash money making hobby, I guess you can call it. But I did it full time for about a year, and it was really grueling. And started getting into American muscle cars and everything, and they're fun, but why have one if you can't afford the gas for it? You know, it's the same thing with an old car. You're gonna have to work on it all the time, so it's, you know, it's they're fun, they're awesome to have, I guess, but it's more of a novelty. So it's not really practical for everyday use unless you just dump tons of money. Financially, it's not very feasible. That's why I mess with everyday drivers, and people love hybrids. I love hybrids. They save you tons of money every year. For the amount of money that they save you, I mean, you could have probably bought a really nice Mercedes or BMW or something, and but I mean, why do that when you can just bank that money and use it on other things, you know? So hybrids are kind of my thing now, except they're not fun to drive. That's why I'm trying to transition into a Fiat. It just gets good gas mileage. You know, I can mess with it, can have fun with it. It'll take the place of my old Fiat when I sell that. My old Fiat is a 131, very rare car, Super Mirror Fury, which is it was a rally car back in the 80s and 90s. Mine's a 76. Got that up at my house, and I work on that pretty much every other day, every day now that I'm in quarantine, trying to stay away from people here. But this is my Florida car life right now, and my real enemy right now is just this tree and the virus. So life is pretty laid back, and you know, I fight with the car problems every once in a while, but you know, when I get them together, they're all good. And this one's going to Kansas today. Shipper's supposed to come pick it up. It's actually sat here for a month, so I gotta wash it. Tree's been pollinating and crapping all over it, and that car I've been kind of driving every once in a while. The truck, I just picked up a bunch of pavers last night with it. Got a little trailer back there full of pavers. Look at this. Those were all free. So I love that little truck. I mean, that truck, it's a little 5-speed, and it's about 27 miles per gallon. That thing gets, it's just a really reliable. I see why there's a big following for these hard bodies now. And that's going to be a classic, but I got a guy right now, he's nagging to see it. So I'm going to let him see it, but I'm not going to go down on my price for it. I'm going to stay firm as possible. I just did, man, countless things to that truck. I did an alternator, I did suspension, I did ball joints, which I guess is suspension. I did total undercoating of that. I did LED headlights, tail lights, restored the bed. Did that. I use that POR 15. If you guys don't know, that stuff is the best for coating rust. It's about $50 a quart, but there's a reason. And I don't get the quarts anymore because if you don't use the whole can, it solidifies. So you can get mini quarts they make now, and not mini quarts. I don't know what they are, but they're smaller cans, mini cans of them. So that's the way to go. Also, speaking of way to go, if you're not savvy on cars, timing chains are the way to go. That's the other reason why I mess with these particular cars. These all have timing chains, except for that Highlander hybrid. I got to change the belt in that timing belt in that Highlander hybrid. It's good for about 100,000 miles, and this is well over that. So I gotta do that today or tomorrow. And I'm gonna start up the mobile mechanic thing, because after these cars are all done, you know, people are talking about the economy slowing down. So I'm thinking I'm gonna have to keep things going that way. But because flipping cars is just very difficult if you're not. It's not for the faint of heart. You know, if you have a lot of patience and places to store cars, and you like to keep them clean and everything, you know, you could flip cars. But I don't recommend it for people that don't have a lot of patience, and maybe just do one at a time, you know, every once in a while. But you know, I've paid for everything that way, pretty much been my life for the last 8 years or so. And like I said, it can be laid back, but you know, when people give you the runaround, or they're just not buying, you get a little frustrated sometimes. So but you also got to make the right purchase in the beginning. That's the best way to do it. Oh yeah, I got somebody else. Actually, I'm very lucky. Somebody's actually coming to see this other Prius today. And that car is awesome. But all right, I gotta go.